At the Culver City, at Culver City. I know it's,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah. I'm trying to remember. It's when we log in, it's already in there.
Culver City.
Yeah, I think it's Culver City.
She got me, she nailed me.
I think we've gotten sold over 50% of our goals, so that's quite good. Yeah. The first big was happening this weekend, so spent some time outside of Trader Joe's downtown. Sold Sheila's cookies.
Yep.
Thank you.
I was trying to get them from my house.
How much room does it take up?
A decent amount.
I have to reset my password again. We can do it from here. Would you like to do it? I think I just got there as we speak.
My son has this little closet in his room that we cleared out to put the cookies in.
So
He calls it the cookie vault.
during swimming today, workout,
feel tempted to go into the cookie vault?
there's another woman and I, we were swimming next to each other. And she's improving, but I guess her goal is to be as
large and do
be
as
as
adult
fast as I am.
like
And she's probably like 20 years younger,
No, he's like,
but she wasn't a swimmer. So
I don't think he like really focuses.
anyway,
on
but the coach, today is distance day, but the coach said, hey, I know that you guys can handle real distance, like the others can't handle the distance, but we have the mental capacity or whatever. And it does take that, but, so he gives us this set. And she got in a little bit late, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna keep up with Marcy. And he's like, no. You need to warm up first before you can try to keep up with her. We don't want you getting hurt. Right. And so he said, just use this first 500 as a warm up. This first set is a warm up.
Just as you were walking.
Anyway.
Are you logged in now?
I am logged in.
Okay. Okay, called to order the February 3rd, 2026 meeting of the PRCS Commission. Could we have roll call, please?
Thank you. All right, and we would do Member Whitaker,
Present.
Member Chen,
Here.
Member Bond,
Here.
Vice Chair Peters,
Here.
Chair Alexander,
Here.
and with everyone here, we have a quorum.
Wonderful. Commissioner Whitaker, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on the agenda, we have items from members and staff, and I'll start with the commission members. Would Commissioner Chen like to begin?
Oh, you'd think I would be prepared. Sorry. I'm going to pass there, sorry. My
Okay.
head's not screwed on straight right now.
If you want me to come back around, just let me know.
Sure.
Commissioner Whitaker?
All right. Good evening, staff, commissioners, chair, vice chair. Just like to start off by first saying
happy Black History Month to everyone. Secondly, I attended the MLK celebration. It was very nice. It was set up. The organization was really, really good. When Dr. Scott Brown, African American Studies at a professor at UCLA, he spoke, and when he spoke how Dr. King in relevance, not in past tense, and how things are wrapped currently today as what he spoke then. So it was really informative, it was really humbling, and it brought a lot up to speed. Not just, I felt for the crowd, not just myself, but for the crowd as well, too. Also, in lieu of Black History Month, at the Culver Theater, it's the 34th annual Pan-African Film Festival. That's coming up February 16th through the 22nd. So if anybody want any more information, go to paff.org. There's tons of information, multiple films on there that will be shown. Lastly, not to be too long-winded, but lastly, the Culver City Fire Department, their CERT that they have, the Community Emergency Response Team that they have. They do it every year. They have an online session, but they also as well have in-person sessions as well too. It's 2 days for the end of February and also March 7th. But they also host another one later on during the year. So for anyone who's looking to update, some of their emergency understandings, Heimlich maneuvers, etc., I absolutely implore you to go and check it out. It's on the Culver City website, but also the Culver City Fire Department part on the website as well, too. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Bond?
Well, first off, happy February, everybody. I think what I would just like to say is I really enjoy when I go through the parks and just see people enjoying them. And like happened yesterday, it was Tuesday, I was walking back from the pool and I noticed that there was a family that had set up a table under the trees along Barman, and they were having a picnic. And it was just, it was such a beautiful day. And I thought, this is why we have parks. This is why parks are so important. They chose to come outside. Maybe they don't have a yard. Maybe they live in an apartment. Who knows what their living situation is? But this is why we have parks. And I'm really grateful to the staff and everybody who does what they do in order to make it so that we have such beautiful greenery all around our city. So thank you.
Vice Chair Peters?
I just want to echo happy February. We made it through January. Happy Black History Month. And just, echoing Commissioner Bond's sentiment, I was in Mexico City last week for work, and there are like a zillion parks there, and it's so nice to see everybody out enjoying parks. And it just reminded me, especially as we build more housing, especially more apartments here in Culver City, how important it is to have green space where people just can hang out and just not have to pay to hang out there and just hang out. So that was really nice. And, it's also beginning of Little League season, so I've been hanging in the park some myself, and it's nice to have people back out there playing. So happy February.
Thank you. I'd like to start off with a huge shout out to the lifeguard staff at the Plunge. As my understanding, approximately 1 week ago, they had to put their skills to the test and made a rescue of I guess it was a woman who was found at the bottom of the pool, so they had to do all hands on, and I understand that the fire department was also very complimentary of everything they did. So I think this just underlies the importance not only of our plunge as a facility here, but that everyone in the community can know that they're safe there because our lifeguards are paying attention and they know how to do their job. So I think it's wonderful, and we're trying to work on, see if they could possibly get some recognition before the city council for their performance as well, because I think it is well earned. Secondly, with respect to what some of my fellow commissioners have been saying about the importance of parks, I want to thank you again for allowing me to be the emissary to the city council meeting where they were discussing the changes and increases to the parks facilities fees that could form in a way to provide substantial monies coming into our park system. When I went into the meeting, there were some people, including one representative of developers, who were suggesting that by doing so could possibly put a little bit of a wrench in the idea of doing affordable housing in our city. But I was also struck by what one woman told me when I happened to be in Carlson Park. And what she said, I think, echoes the sentiments of everyone sitting here on the dais, which is our parks are third spaces. And they're especially those third spaces, meaning you have your home, you have your workplace or school, and then what is that third space? Some of those third spaces may be private. If you have enough money, you can join a sports club, or sometimes those third spaces may be churches. But given the weather that we have here in Southern California, the biggest third space that we have here in the city and that the city operates and funds are our park systems. So I think that I know my fellow commissioners and I work very hard every time that we see members of the city council to underline that very fact, because we need to stand up and have just as much of a voice when it comes to budget time as any of the other departments. And that's because we provide that third space for individuals. That's all I have. Commissioner Chen, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, thank you for being gracious and circling back to me. Sorry. I had rushed here from my son's high school basketball game, and it did make me think about how they started out doing like pee-wee basketball in the parks here. Even though this game was for school, but lots of seeds planted in our facilities. So I really appreciate that. I do also want to wish folks a happy Black History Month. I also attended the MLK celebration and ran into our commissioner outside. It was a really great turnout with lots of positive energy. The keynote speaker, Dr. Brown, was really excellent. There was a interactive exhibition about voting with our, I think it's the artist laureate for the city, yes?
Yes.
So that was fun, and I got to participate in a reading of a quote, and I think they were putting together a video montage of folks reading quotes that were meaningful to them about MLK and voting rights. And I guess the final thing is I will wish everybody a happy Lunar New Year coming up on the 17th, the year of the horse. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments from staff, or do you want to defer to the meeting end?
There is one thing I want to say, and then we'll defer the rest for the end of the meeting. I do want to welcome Adrian Cobian. He is our new senior management analyst for the department, so he will become your main point of contact for this PRCS commission. He is sitting in the back learning tonight, but come March, he will be leading the show. So welcome, Adrian.
Welcome. We're very happy to have you. Moving next on the agenda are for public comment for items not on the agenda. I see we have one speaker.
Yes, we have one speaker.
3 minutes, please.
Michael Haas.
Good evening. My name is Mike Haas. I'm a resident of Lindbergh Park and an avid visitor of the Boneyard on Leash Way, the dog park in Culver City. I hope you'll give me a few extra seconds than 3 minutes since we're kind of quiet and very, very intimate. But I'm here representing the process of what's happening to the park in my 4 years of visiting. The folks behind me have been going for a lot longer. They have a bigger history with parks. Being here for 30 years, I've enjoyed outdoor space for my children and for my family for all that time. And being in Culver City, as you were saying with the plunge as well, I go daily, I do 5 days a week, and I really admire those kids for what they do. So thanks for mentioning that. I'm here representing the folks for the Boneyard because we don't have a go-to when there is something important that, number one, might cause a safety problem for animals and humans, and even importantly, money savings from lawsuits for possible problems in Culver City. And I'll bring that up in a second, because as we know, we live in a society that never takes any records of making sure that things are safe. They'd rather point the finger and blame someone else, and of course, municipalities always have a little extra budget. So instead of complaining, let's fix the problems, and I hope I can share this with you. Our group is there every morning at 6. First thing we do is do what your team of park cleaners don't do. They pick up 2 trash bags, drag them to 5 trucks with 7 guys, and 2 of them do the work, and the rest of them discuss last night's dinner. Now, I understand items of employment are hard to get. I have 2 businesses, and I know that for me, if I don't train my team, I create chaos, as I'm sure many of you know. Somebody needs to take control, and somebody needs to step up to help these people understand what their job actually is. We pick up debris every morning. We circulate the balls, and last week, I ran into one of your morning guys, and he says, yeah, we're going to do our spring cleaning. And quote unquote, he said, we're going to bring the park back to making it safe and pretty. And I thought, well, that's fantastic. You know, the next morning I went and I looked, and there was a whole new mound of turf, and go and do your thing. On Saturday, I went to the park, and I was really disappointed. The turf looked fantastic. They took away the pavers around the trees, making them not to be tripped on. Beautiful. What happened with the machinery that smoothed out the turf, it caused a hinge, or it got caught like a zipper on the machinery, was the link fence separating the small dog park and the large dog park, which now has a 4-foot by 12-inch space for the small dogs and the big dogs to put their face under, and the small dogs to run to the big dogs park. Unfortunately, one of the dogs, hello? Unfortunately, one of the dogs got hurt. That ran over.
That's time.
The small dogs and the large dogs run along the fence chasing each other and barking. That's their exercise. And I was thinking, why didn't they take the pavers and line them up along the fence and close that off until further notice? Wasn't done.
Mr. Haas?
Yes,
It's time.
really. So how do I have this message come out of the dangers that you now have and what's not finished? You have water leaks that are now growing from 5 feet from that Saturday to
Mr.
15
Haas,
feet.
do you have some written materials?
I do.
That you can give to
I
our
also
staff?
have
that
images upon
maintains?
request.
Yes, that would be great to have those turned
And-
over to our staff as well.
And who do we send that to?
Danny, would you take that? Thank you. This is Danny Collins. She'll take that from you. We take what you're saying seriously.
I can send that to you. And Danny, what is your position, if you don't mind me asking?
Recreation and Community Services Manager.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time, but that's extremely disappointing. You got some real dangers at the park right now, and it's not finished. I wish you guys luck. These people don't care.
Are there any other speakers that have signed up since? Okay, thank you. Receipt of correspondence, do we have any?
We do not.
Okay, great. Moving on to consent calendar items, we have approval of the minutes from, okay, from our last meeting in January.
January 6, 2026.
Yes. Are there any changes from any of the commissioners?
I motion to approve the minutes from the January meeting.
Vice Chair Peters, can you enter it into the computer?
There we go.
Thank you.
I second.
All right, with a motion from Vice Chair Peters and seconded by Commissioner Bond, we have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular Parks and Recreation Community Service Commission meeting of January 6, 2026. And you will vote. And with the votes in, that passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to action item A1. I'm having a hard time getting these to open. Am I clicking on the little paper clip?
Or clicking,
Here, click on
you're clicking onto the item?
So scroll down.
Oh, I got it. Thank you. Action item A1, receipt and filing of the Parks and Recreation and Community Services fiscal year 26-27 budget recommendation letters to the City Council with amendments, if any, and if desired, transmittal of the correspondence to the city manager. I see we have one speaker, so I'll take the speaker first, please.
All right, we have Meg Sullivan, and how much time would you like to give her?
3 minutes, please.
All right.
Everybody, as many of you know, my name is Meg Sullivan, and my husband and I are stakeholders in the Arts District next to the bike path that parallels the Expo Line train in National Boulevard between Sid Cronenthal Park and Wesley Street. I again want to thank this commission and previous commission members for their support of the idea of placing racket courts under the unused train overpass along the bike path at Wesley, and for mentioning it in the budget letter for the upcoming year. I also want to extend my gratitude to staff for exploring the idea. I've got to say I'm stunned, however, at the anticipated cost that's reflected in the letter, which is 4 or 5 times what I was expected from what I figured would be a simple grading, paving, and fencing job in an area that's already quite noisy, as reflected in an independent 2017 sound study that I forwarded to staff. Frankly, I thought it would be very cheap to install the courts, so I'm hoping for an elaboration of the cost estimate. And I wonder if pencils could be sharpened, as I suspect a lower cost would increase the likelihood of passage. I see where my name is mentioned in the letter, and I heard the kind words from in last meeting from Commissioner Chen, And while I appreciate the sentiments, please know that I'm not seeking attention here. I just want a resolution to a longstanding issue in our neighborhood, and I feel like there's an opportunity here to kill two birds with one stone, meet the growing demand locally for certain type of recreation, and make lawful, productive use of wasted land that otherwise tends to become a wasteland. So thanks in advance for your consideration.
Thank you. We will now move to discussion from commissioners regarding the letter. I think our intent was if we were all in agreement to it, this might be our last go-around, but let's see how it goes. Commissioner Whitaker, would you like us to start?
Yeah, from looking over what the budget letter was and my recommendations that I had, I spoke with Adam on a few things that I had suggested towards the end of the meeting last month. When we discussed it, kind of fell into almost the 2045 city plan, what I was referring to. So I will not want to include that on the budget letter. But other than that, everything else looked really, really good. Our recommendations for what we were asking for had fallen in line with what we have been discussing over the course of the end of last year. So I don't have any more recommendations to add to the budget letter from what I see.
Thank you. Commissioner Chen?
Yeah, I also want to recognize the tremendous amount of work that's gone into getting the letter to this very polished stage. I think it includes all of the main points that we wanted to make, and I think really adequately references the Parks Master Plan to be kind of our North Star as we prioritize projects with limited funds. So I don't have any additional items. Thank you.
Commissioner Bond?
Well, once again, thank you, Commissioner Peters, or Vice Chair Peters, for all of your hard work on this. I think the only thing, because we have been asking for the past, I don't know how many years, at least this is the second time we've asked for the maintenance workers. And maybe it's been done, we've asked that before, I'm not sure. I was wondering how easy it would be to, if we had any numbers or percentages of how much that could save us as opposed to how much it would cost us to pay for something like that. So, because a lot of times if you give them numbers, you say, look, it's going to cost us this, but we can save X number of dollars by doing that. We might actually have a chance of them saying, hey, you know what? I mean, because every year, if you're saving $50,000 or $100,000 a year over how much it's costing us to pay for somebody to be there, then the council, or even a percentage, it's going to be 25% more than it costs us to pay. Maybe then they'll say, hey, we're going to do this because we obviously need this and we keep asking. So that's just my suggestion. If it's too much to come up with those numbers, then we just present it as it is. So that would just be, if we're able to do it. Because we mentioned cost savings in there, so if we can give them something.
We could take like a time frame and look at things. So we think we can come up with some kind of savings cost in some format. So staff can look at that.
It would be, yeah, hopefully it'd be real simple. Not that I want to push this off, just that I'm hoping maybe this would move them on it.
Or another thing, I pretty sure that was mentioned while we were talking about the budget letter, which is, I believe we have to report to the county on some kind of grading system, what the grades are in terms of our parks. And so I think that would be something that we would want to bring forward regularly, or at minimum with the budget letter, so that the city council is made aware. I mean, I'm sure that members of the city council end up going to a fair number of events at the parks, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're paying as much attention perhaps as we might to, the conditions of the facilities, unless it's brought regularly to their attention. So if we could have that attachment of, if there's a way, I don't know how large this reporting that goes to the county, where we list the grades, just like I guess Public Works has a grading system for their streets, then maybe that would underline the reasons behind why we need to have those maintenance workers. Sorry to step in before other commissioners, I just wanted to add that.
The only other thing I was going to say on page 4, gopher is spelled wrong. It should be Gopher. It's in the first paragraph there.
Is that all?
Yep, otherwise I think it looks really good.
Great.
Commissioner Peters.
Thank you. Vice Chair Peters, although you're the one that's been doing the lion's share of the work in helping us draft this letter.
Yeah, this is more just a question for staff. The notes in yellow around Telephison, do we want to include the thinning out of the tree canopy, et cetera, in a certain phase? And which phase would that be? Is the best, or which phase is the best? And then, do you think we're going to actually figure out this cost of completed at one time? Or do you think we're just going to run with the cost of in phases?
I would recommend just going with the cost of the phases.
All right.
And I would recommend if you were going to incorporate the thinning of the tree canopy and the planting of native species, I would put it at phase 3.
Great. Just make sure. I think that was my only question.
Thank you. So I do have a question about the pickleball courts. I'm seeing in one area of Telephison Park, I'm not sure which is the correct pronunciation, that park. The pickleball courts are costing $686,400, and was that for 3?
It's for 2.
For 2. We took the 1 out. Okay, so it went from 3 to 2.
Yes.
And then an additional amount for the seating. What went into the number that was 1.25 million for developing a small park off the E line? I mean, obviously, that's more virgin territory, so more things need to be done, but that's quite a leap of difference from the cost estimate from Telephison to here, so.
So in that area, there's in essence what I'm calling, but I don't know if it would be a good term, but I'm calling them 3 bays. There's 3 distinct areas. So we have a pickleball court going into one that it clearly fits in, but there's 2 others that we want to respect all the work that's been done there. So we do include changing out the irrigation lines, doing some planting to support the planting that's happened there, and making that area more of a park. So we kind of included extra cost. We could, if you want, bring that down to being solely the pickleball court, but that number encompasses what we can do for all 3 bays and make that area nice for all the residents.
If it remains at the 1.25, I think we should probably include a little bit of that verbiage if the rest of the commission is agreeable, because it sort of begs the question, as I just asked, why is it only 680,000 over here and 1.25 over there? I didn't know if it was extra safety considerations, because they're all in there between a very busy roadway, or what it was.
We can break down the cost in the letter if you want, or, if this comes back for one final approval in March, we can bring kind of our rudimentary designs of what we think the area would be, and we can kind of explain the cost better. We can do both of those things.
So I believe I understand the intent behind how the cost estimate came together, but I'm also sitting here thinking back of all those faces that were in the audience who were pleading with the city to do something to put in pickleball courts, and those people probably just want courts at some point. And maybe this is also one that can be done in phases, just like Tellefson. I'm not sure of the mechanics in terms of what you were saying of the irrigation.
No,
and
yeah,
all
I
those
mean, we completely could just bring it down to the pickleball court, which is more closer to 250. I just know that something that I hear from that community is that they've done a lot of work and they are upset that they feel like they've been ignored. So one thing I would want to add is fixing the irrigation and making sure the work they've done is honored. So I would probably want it to be a little more than 250 in the letter, but we have some other stuff that we could pull out and maybe do down the road. So we could get you a new number for just simply irrigation, maintaining the work that's been done there, and a pickleball court.
Okay, because I think there's some value in putting something new for the community. And this would be new in a unique location. And I recall from our last meeting how we were all excited about the potential new fitness court that, if we get the grant monies and all the other moving pieces are put together, the excitement that would come from that and having something new, while we, of course, spend a lot of time and money maintaining what we have. So that's just my 2 cents, and I'll see what the rest of my fellow commissioners think about that. That was the only comments that I had, other than thanking the vice chair again for authoring.
Chair, if you don't mind, I'll also add the ratings you were speaking of. That's through LA County Park Portal. So it's not letter grades, it's a ranking through numbers, but we can pull the report and make it an attachment, and you all can decide at your next meeting if you want to keep it and have it move forward, or if you want to remove it.
Okay.
I do like the detail of kind of putting in some context that the Tellefson Park quote is for 2 courts, and the new racket sports courts under the E-line is for 3. I think that will help contextualize the numbers.
Is it for 3 or 1?
Right now, it's for 1.
Oh, it's for 1. excuse me.
I'd have to double check with our landscape architect. I believe it fits perfectly in 1 bay. It is a bit tight, and I have some concerns in another bay, and then the 3rd bay it won't fit at all. But we could possibly get 2 if we really squeeze it. I just don't like I have concerns about trying to cram 1 in, that when it might have to be adjusted to fit. So right now, we're just recommending 1, and it falls in the center.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. So
Yeah.
Is your concern about cramming to fit it in from a safety perspective, or is it more that the expected dimensions of said court would need to be adjusted, or both?
Both. But also, Ryan's listening online, so he is letting me know he could fit 2 if we wanted to make it 2 courts there. So we could come back with the numbers for 2 courts and irrigation, and then you all can decide if you want to drop it down to 1 court. But again, if you, this is, I just love that you're here. That's what that look was. Because this is a good conversation for you to be here. So I think, this is something I say about a lot of our parks, and even though this isn't a park, I think it's a good thought to have and a discussion to have, is what you all envision the identity of this area to be. So if we're talking pickleball courts and that's the identity, then yeah, absolutely, we can put 2 in. We can try to just make it this great pickleball area. If you all are thinking, like, I was leaning towards the fact that the residents have done so much work, making sure what they've done is maintained and irrigated correctly, and we can add 1 pickleball court, and then that gives us 2 bays to maybe do something else. We've talked about possibly doing a dog park, in one. I mean, there's just other options. So it really, and this can be something, again, we can put in the budget letter for 2 courts and then come back next month and you all can think about this, because it's discussing the identity of a park is something that kind of can be challenging, because a lot of people don't think, oh wait, parks have identity, but they do. We have passive parks, we have sports parks, we have active parks, right? So the identity of these 3 bays, what are you all requesting? Because we can, Ryan is saying, in 2 of the bays we could fit pickleball courts. The 3rd bay, it's just too small. The pickleball court, you wouldn't have the right dimensions for the game. So we could put 2 courts there, or we could keep the court in the middle, and you have the 2 in bays that we could do other things with. So it's part of a larger conversation about what we want the area to be.
And just one final thought from me on that. In terms of whatever negotiations that, or maybe they've already taken place or will be taking place with Metro on that, are they going to want to weigh in on what the various options of things that we would do in there, or are they just going to be neutral?
They're going to be neutral. Let me say, the last time we met with them, they were neutral. I can't predict what the future will be, but that's what they were neutral on, on what we do with under.
Great.
Chairman, so I'm a little hesitant to say that, in this budget letter, we should determine the identity of the park without doing more community outreach. So one thought I had would be kind of like what we have at Telephison, is to give the council more context and put out some more options and say, for sure we want 1 pickleball court, for sure we need irrigation, and then here are some other options that the community, we would like the community to consider. And so could you give us X amount? Maybe it's not the full 1.25 million, maybe it's 500,000 or some sort of middle number, so that, we could have community meetings with Meg and all of her neighbors and all of your friends who've done all the lovely work. And I'm sure the pickleball community would come out, but kind of let the community have a discussion there, because I know if suddenly one of the empty lots that's near my house is going to be taken over for a park, I'd probably want to have some input on that. So I think if we could give the council some different ideas and give them give us, we're already asking for a lot, and I'm going to be honest that I'm not sure we're going to get everything we want, or probably not, but giving them sort of different options. So one of them could be for the first phase, we're going to do the middle bay with a pickleball court and do the irrigation, and then maybe then the following year we add another pickleball court, or we add more stuff, or dog park or something like that. But I think giving them some options and further contextualizing this number would be a good idea.
I agree. I think maybe dividing it into two phases and go first phase is a pickleball court and irrigation, and then you could say second phase needs community input, but some ideas are, and we can list out those ideas.
I think it does call for community input because we did a complete Parks Master Plan that wasn't talking about any of this stuff, at least in this level of specificity. It talked about looking for spaces in the future, but I think that we set a good roadmap for getting community input on these kind of things. So I think that's a good point, Vice Chair.
I did want to point out one additional typo that I just found, sorry. Also at the top of page 4, the cost of renovating the fields, fixing fields, 700,000, I think is missing one more zero.
Oh, okay.
700 would be really nice. That would be so nice compared to 700,000.
Yes.
7,000 or 70,000?
700.
It should be 700,000, so it needs one more zero at the end there.
Okay, so that was correct.
Yeah. Good catch.
Yes. No, I agree. I agree that I think that it does definitely need community input, but do phases, as was suggested.
The idea is there. I mean, it's definitely going to be something to bring to the table that clearly wasn't in a parks plan, but adding that, letting them understand that there's a goal in mind here, right? To create more third spaces in the city where they already didn't exist. So the idea in walking back there on the Hayden track, it gets pretty dark at night back there sometimes, right? And by adding that extra visibility, just that, I mean, clearly the metro's going over, but the extra visibility back there will decrease the possibilities of something nefarious to happen, honestly. So adding that really in phases also, the phase idea is also really fantastic, Vice Chair, because that also gives the idea of growth. So it's really important. And I know we would like to stick to the Parks Plan because the Parks Plan was wonderfully done. But just the additional things on it really makes it show that forward thinking, that forward motion of what we're doing and why we're even asking for the money. So I really do like the ideas.
I will also add, it actually is in the Parks Plan as a potential land to develop. So, I mean, it's not like called out and like we know what we're doing with it, but we can quote the Parks Plan because it is at least mentioned in that area.
But one more thing to remember is that within the city charter, we're supposed to have X number of park space per people. And we are not remotely close to how much park space we're supposed to be for people. So this would be adding, even though it's not a lot, it would be adding to that park space.
Yes. So it sounds like this will be coming back one more time next month. We want it pluperfect, yes. Okay, Vice Chair, do you have what you need?
Yes, I do.
Great.
And I'll work with Adam to finish this up.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion on this item?
I move to receive and file, I'm looking for the title, of the
You can-
PRCS fiscal year 2026, 2027 budget recommendations letter to the city council with amendments. Oops.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bond, seconded by Commissioner Chen, to receive and file the the PRCS Commission Fiscal Year 2026-27 Budget Recommendation Letter to the City Council with amendments. And we will vote. And with all votes in, that motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We're moving on now to item A2, which is the receipt and filing of updates from members of various ad hoc subcommittees and appointments to outside organizations and city committees. I do not see any speakers on this item.
Yes, if you want.
And the first one up is the Culver City Senior Center Association Board. I attended the meeting this month. They have a new board. The new board chair is Emily Glick, and I was very impressed with how she ran the meeting, that she clearly has past experience somewhere in running meetings. So I thought that was great. There was some concern about the fact that the air conditioning is too much in the building, especially in the winter, and I tried not to laugh when I was thinking of everybody else in the rest of the country up to their chins and beyond in snow and ice. But anyway, there was some concern about that, and I understand that, you know, when you're at that age, sometimes temperature regulation is difficult. I just wanted to point out, if there is any interest from the commissioners or the community, there's always a wonderful event that they put on at the Senior Center for Valentine's Day for members of the Senior Center who are 90 and above. They can actually receive some flowers and candy. So members of the community, I've signed up to do this. You get a route map and they give you everything and you go around and deliver it. And it's a wonderful experience. I mean, sometimes you find out that they're not available because they're sleeping, and other times I found out, I started talking to a woman because I ended up doing my rounds after I came off a tennis court, and it turned out she was a member of the same tennis club that I am now back in the day. So you get all these kinds of experiences, and I think it's lovely that they do that. See if there's anything else on here. Nothing out of the ordinary. They're still, replacing things like pool tables, and they're continuing with their entertainment dances, and they seem to be on track for a lot of the upcoming events. So I think that's pretty much the report. The next one would be the Culver City Arts Foundation.
I messed up and missed the meeting because I didn't get the email until the same day, and I was on a plane to Mexico City, so I did not attend the meeting. I do know that they had their retreat this last month, their yearly retreat. They've been working on a lot of different projects and are still working on developing their relationship with the city. A lot of the conversation at the last meetings and through the email chains that I've seen is a lot about really figuring out what the foundation is funding, what its role is in the city, and a real desire not just to be a ATM for the city for arts projects, but actually have a real impact. But yes, I messed up and missed the meeting and I asked Alicia for minutes, but I haven't gotten them yet. So I will double report next time, and I apologize for that.
Chair, I would like to add, so they requested that I come speak at their retreat because they were interested in knowing more about the parks plan and the priorities when it comes to cultural facilities within our parks, be it the outdoor classrooms or the major projects at Veterans Park. So I did attend that retreat, and I, for about an hour and a half, talked them through the parks plan and answered their questions about how parks and culture can be more aligned. So they are definitely on board with trying to support things going forward and are open to any kind of support that we need from them.
There was one more thing about the senior center. I had a senior center meeting on the 15th of January because every year, LA County during May has Older Americans Month, and they hold an event, Aging and Disability Services, where they recognize an older person. So Culver City can nominate one person to attend the event to represent Culver City. And usually they have at least 2 nominations, but this year we only had 1. And so we all voted for Michael Monaghan, or Monahan. So, and that was Monahan? Okay. And so that, just to update.
Thank you. I think that they usually appear before council in May for this, am I correct? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thank you. The next one is the Summer Olympics Ad Hoc Subcommittee that I do not have anything to report. Next is the Recreational Programming Rentals Fees Study. We were able to have a Zoom meeting to sort of get the lay of the land of where that is now. Would you like to report on this, Commissioner Whitaker?
We were able to meet Deputy Director Adam Ferguson led us through a wonderful presentation, understanding and showing me first and foremost. It's the first time I've ever seen it, so trying to get a grasp, and also Adrian as well too. He was in the meeting. He was present, showing us where the fee model has basically started from to where it's become now. What I learned, basically seeing under the hood, essentially, is what really was there. As he was showing, I took down some notes here, but there were multiple fee studies and showing how what was essential items, direct and indirect, is what Adam showed, and in a lot of the slides showing what the city needs, wants, and how the overlay of percentages will then work with subsidies through the city. I'm still getting a grasp of it. It was roughly about 75 slides going through, so it's a lot of information. It's great information, though. It really is, and understanding the different percentages and how we can save money as a committee, and how the city can save money, and how we can get the most resources for the dollar is what really the fee study has expressed. So that's what we went over. I know we will meet again, and it was very informative. So that's what the fee study meeting was. Chair, anything else you'd like to
Just that we hope to see it on a city council agenda sometime. Hopefully, it won't be delayed too much longer, because it's not only been a long time coming, and it's a lot of work, and I hope that the community doesn't have sticker shock, but when it comes forward, they will be told that these fees have not been adjusted for 12 going on 13 years. So it's time, and it's time to do it this way and the right way, so I think it's great. Moving on, we have the Plunge Procedures Ad Hoc Subcommittee, which I understand met yesterday or the day before.
Yesterday. Yesterday we had the ad hoc subcommittee meeting. Well, it was Monday, right? Or-
Yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yes.
I swam on Monday, that's why. So apparently, what the people seem to be okay with having the registration for swimming. But out of the 200 or so, 200-plus people that swim, there was about 25% of them who actually responded. But when I went in on Monday, I know the discussion was that we needed to discuss this before we made ultimate decision. When we went in on Monday, or when I went in on Monday, I'm not royal, I wanted to drop in, sometimes I'd like to think so, but I'm not. I wanted to drop in and just to go into a drop-in lane. And there was no drop-in lane. So there was some type of breakdown in communication, and I found out after just talking to a few of the people on deck who have been there since the beginning of the year that after the opening in January, they got rid of the drop-in lane, which was not what we had discussed. So it was something that needed to be brought back to the commission and make a decision. Honestly, with me and the seeing the amount of people that actually, at least during the winter time, there doesn't really need, in my estimation, to be a registration. When I was there Monday at 11 o'clock, it might be busier earlier in the morning, but when I was there at 10 or so, 10:30 is when I wanted to get in, they had mostly one person per lane. Some had two, but there were also empty lanes. So it was there were people who chose to swim together in the lane. And what this said is that a lot of the people who register, there's only one person per lane. And then a lot of them, about 44% say they swim 55 minutes. I will question that, only from my own experience of being there and seeing how the pool is emptied out by about 40 minutes or 45 minutes. So a lot of times you have like 15 minutes where there's only 2 or 3 people in the pool. And 32% only swim 45 minutes. So when I look at this and I look at the usage of the pool, it seems like we might get more use. And there were only 5% who swam 2 hours. So the concern that people are going to come in and swim long hours is just, it's like was 5% of 75 people. So you're looking at, 4 people who might be doing this. So it's not a large enough portion of swimmers to be really concerned about them swimming long. My point is that there was the express at the beginning there was concern expressed at the beginning when they started this, when we started questioning whether we needed a registration or not, because there would be people abusing it and staying for hours and hours and hours. And that's not what's happening. People are, for the most part, swimming anywhere from 30 minutes, 2 hours, but most of them are swimming between 45 and 55 minutes. But it just, and I personally know probably about 100 people who no longer swim at the plunge because of these policies. And I still advocate, at least during the wintertime. In the summertime, when there's a much larger demand on the pool, maybe we have registration. But I still think in the wintertime, you could make it so people could drop in, and it's not going to, it's not really going to affect anybody. That's just my personal opinion. I know some people might swim a little bit longer. I'd probably swim like an hour and a half. But, some other things is I asked about swim lessons. We asked about swim lessons because that was one of the people that I spoke to on deck was saying, last year, it was a week before, and I found out that they weren't going to have swim lessons, and then my grandkids weren't able to sign up for any swim lessons. So I wanted to be sure that we had some information in advance. Kim said yes. We absolutely are working towards getting these swim lessons on. We're definitely at least we intend to offer the very beginning ones like Learn to Swim, Mommy and Me, and the first 1 through 3 levels. That is their goal. They currently have 4 swim instructors that are not management, and they plan to have 2 water safety instruction trainings. So water safety instruction is what you need you need that extra training beyond lifeguard in order to be able to teach swim lessons. And they are working with the Red Cross to have a training in March, and then another training in June right before we would start. And they are going to be offering that for free to the lifeguards. And so they're really hoping that they're going to be able to offer offer the swim lessons, which all of us are as well. We hope that happens. But she also emphasized that generally when they get, out of the last 7 applicants, only 1 had WSI training. So, which would allow them to teach. So it's because it's been really, really hard to get the training. Like the closest training is in Arizona, and that's just not going to work. And it's very expensive. It's not going to work for most people. There's also going to be more. They've just kept the continuous posting for lifeguards, so they're going to keep hiring. And the training starts for regular lifeguard in March 14th and 15th. And then they hope to have more April, May, and June to ensure that we have enough lifeguards to keep the pool open. So they're really doing a good job. I would also like to say that I spoke to the pool manager, Graciela, today to emphasize on, at least for me, how grateful I was with how they reacted and responded to the medical situation that happened in the pool, and that what they were doing with the training and everything was obviously well spent. And I just told her to keep up the good work. So, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I think the only thing is that I believe we decided to have the survey results presentation brought to the next month's
Yes.
commission meeting.
I figured you didn't want to hear me do all of the percentages.
Okay, and our last subcommittee is the Naming and Renaming Minor Facilities Ad Hoc Subcommittee.
Well, unfortunately, we weren't able to lock down a time for all, myself, Commissioner Bond, Deputy Director Ferguson, and staff to meet for this ad hoc subcommittee. We will lock down a date. I think it'll be, it's probably just a lot of people involved, but we'll be able to get a date locked down. We've been working on it, just schedules just didn't permit.
Okay.
I would like also to say that I was sick for a couple of weeks, so looking at Outlook, my Outlook email just wasn't on my radar at that moment.
She really was sick. She wasn't in the pool, so you know she was.
I missed like 10 days of swimming, people. My husband was, when are you going back?
Okay, I think that's all. Do I have a motion to receive this item?
I motion to receive and file the updates from the members of the PRCS Commission ad hoc subcommittees and represented appointees to outside associations and city committees.
I second.
All right, we have a motion given by Vice Chair Peters and seconded by Commissioner Bond to receive and file updates from the members of the ad hoc subcommittees and representative appointees to outside associations and city committees. And now we will vote. And with all votes in, that motion passes.
Great. Now we move on to A3, which is, where did it go? There we go. Our meeting calendar and upcoming agenda item lists with adjustments, if any. I don't see any speakers on this item, so this would be the time to look at the items that we already have listed.
Chair
And-
Alexander, I would like to just add that 3 things were added by staff after it was sent to you for the agenda. And that would be the plunge lap swing guidelines for the March meeting, the MGM sign at the senior center and cultural consideration for park signs. That will be at the March meeting. And then in the April meeting, the PRCS fees and charges changes.
I will also add, because I was typing pretty quickly, there's a typo in that. So the MGM sign, so cultural affairs are looking at, the cultural affairs manager is looking to come to your March meeting to talk about a redesign of the patio along Overland at the senior center, and there might be, she might be including a historic MGM sign into that design. So she's going to present that to you. But also she may be bringing up some background and some questions about some of the names of the parks and some historical context. So she's just going to probably have a presentation that will handle those things.
Oh, okay.
Is it possible, the item that, on the plunge, we were going to look at that. I heard conversation, and I do recall that it was supposed to come back to the commission to decide regarding drop-in lanes and registration. So is the agenda item going to be drafted in such a way that we could take an action on the information that's provided?
Yes, it won't be a receive or file. It will be a recommendation to staff.
Great, thank you. I want to see if I could get at least 3 nodding heads to have a report back on the maintenance of the dog park. Sort of a historical retrospective. We had a speaker here tonight that was talking about something that seemed to be a more recent occurrence, but I do know 2 things. Number one, they're going to have, it's either the 20th or the 25th anniversary of the Friends of the Dog Park in April. So of course they would want it to be looking as nice as possible. But I do feel for what the speaker was saying regarding the safety concerns. I mean, anybody who has a pet of any kind, but in this case we're talking about dogs, they consider them their family. So I think it would behoove the city to provide as much safety for the 4-leggeds that are in the dog park as we would for any 2-leggeds that are in any other park. So do I have agreement with everyone? Yes, okay. So if we could have a report on that, that'd be great.
When do you want the report?
Yeah.
April would be fine.
April?
Yeah.
Right, and staff will we can definitely do a report on what we've been doing and our timelines and things. We will do the best with the history, but historical records of the maintenance, I can't guarantee that we'll have a lot of details on that. But
Yeah, I mean,
we'll do our best to fill in blanks.
Yeah, and it would be good refresher for me and maybe new information for some of the other commissioners in terms of the relationship that the city has with the Friends of the Dog Park. You know, if that could be included in there as well, that'd be great.
Could we invite them or beyond the usual public notification regarding the meetings?
I can reach out to the president of the nonprofit and make sure they're all aware.
Okay. I will point out also that I went to the dog park one week and the gate, it's a double gate entry, right? And the inner gate door was hanging off. And, by the time I went back the next weekend, it was completely fixed and had been filled in. So it seemed like the pace of maintenance and repair was very timely.
Are there any other items for future agendas that commissioners would like to see at this time?
Do we have any more updates on the discussion dates to be determined items at the bottom?
So, the update on the ball fields maintenance and improvements, we really need to be able to give that after budget. Because then we'll actually be able to give this is the plan versus this is what we want to do. So I think that needs to wait until probably fall. The youth sports programs presentation with discussion on field conditions. Do it in May.
Is that our internal sports program or is that?
We could possibly move that up and do it in May, if you all would like. Analysis of PRCS program offerings. Can the commission remind me? Because that is I own credit for not wording that great. Specifically, what kind of analysis are you all looking for?
Oh, that was just the item that sort of ties back to the fees and charges. that
Yes.
one.
Okay. That's my analysis. Okay. So, we don't have an update right now because now that we've gotten the fees and charges rolling again, I'll be able to figure out a timeline. So at next meeting, I'd be able to probably tell you when that can come back.
That's good. I mean, I think we'd all be in concurrence. We need the fees and charges to be rolling ahead first before we do that. Okay, that's good.
For clarification, are we moving youth sports programs up to the May agenda?
I think, yes?
Yeah, okay.
Also, maybe just add into the analysis something at the end, like fees and charges, so that it's just so that when you look at it, yeah. Because I probably wouldn't remember.
And if I'm not here, we won't know. Okay, and the only other item is again, to just look at the date and location of all our upcoming meetings for the rest of the calendar year. It's pretty straightforward.
Is that, where is it?
Is there any other discussion on this item by commissioners or staff? If not, I'll take a motion to receive and file this item.
I move to receive and file the PRCS 2026 meeting calendar and upcoming agenda items list with adjustments.
And I second.
We have a motion motion by Commissioner Chen, seconded by Vice Chair Peters, to receive and file the PRCS Commission 2026 meeting calendar and updated agenda items list with adjustments. And now we will vote.
I took my vote off. Yeah,
It's being cranky tonight.
it is.
There we go.
And with all votes in, that passes unanimously.
Great. Moving on, I will see public comment for items not on the agenda. We have one speaker, Meg Sullivan. 3 minutes, please.
Okay. Meg Sullivan?
And again, same stakeholder in the Arts District as before. I don't know if my comments are going to be appropriate, and I trust Chair Alexander will shut me down if it's not. I just wanted to make some clarifications because I'm hearing some apples and oranges in connection with $1.25 million ask on the bike path. So just to be clear, no volunteer in the community has asked for $1 million of irrigation under the overpass where there's absolutely no light and it would serve no purpose, and it would kind of be perceived, in fact, as a sort of slap in the face of the family, the Smiths family that's been really active from Caroline to Sid Cronenthal Park, the sunniest reach. What they've been asking for over and over again is work on the irrigation on the land that borders the bike path there. And, you know, theoretically, that would be quite expensive. And, you know, if other things want to go in under those bays, wow, great. But Ixnay and irrigation A there. Sorry, thanks. And I'm available for any clarification.
So that clarification is correct, but there's also, when I walked it, under the base, there is broken irrigation that we would want to remove. So there is irrigation work there to be done, but that is correct. We would want to make sure the irrigation that's done on the other side of the bike path is maintained and operating to support the work that was done. That is true. Thank you for that clarification.
And that's all the speakers there, so we will go to items from members and staff, and we'll start with staff this time.
Hi, everyone. Happy February. So the first thing I want to mention is that our new city manager is doing a series of Let's Talk Culver City. So it's listening sessions with residents. The first one was last Thursday at Culver West Alexander Park. And we had a nice turnout, and he mentions and kind of introduces some strategic plans that the city council has given him. So he kind of introduces those things and then opens it up for people to say whatever they are there to say to him. And then he allows responses from the department heads. All the department heads attend. So it's last week's went pretty well. It was a really nice meeting, a nice turnout. I just want to make sure you all are aware. So there's one tomorrow night at Sid Cronenthal Park. It's at 6 o'clock. There's one Thursday, February 12th at Ellercon Elementary School. It's going to be in their cafeteria. And then there's two happening on Thursday, February 19th. The first one is at 1 o'clock. It's at the Senior Center. And then there's one in the Rotunda Room at Vets at 6 o'clock. So if you are available for any of those, it's a great opportunity to meet the city manager. It's also a great opportunity to hear kind of what residents are thinking and what's on their minds. So I invite all of you to at least be able to attend one if you can. Also, what's happening on February 14th is the City Council will be holding a strategic planning retreat where the department heads will be in attendance and strategic plan goals will be set by City Council. So I will be sure to share them with Vice Chair Peters if they're at a place to be shared by the end of that retreat, so that you can make sure it aligns with your letter, because there will be new strategic goals put in place. It also, yeah, so that's going to be February 12th, 14th, thank you.
Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yes, it is on Valentine's Day. And so, yeah, and that's what I have. And then do you have?
Good evening. I have a few things. So CARP and the Teen Center both will be celebrating Black History Month. Examples of things that they'll be doing, they'll have trivia of Black leaders. They are going to, one of the sites is going to celebrate the first Black heart surgeon, and then their activity will be like the kids will be making a heart and then like labeling the pieces. So staff is doing a great job coming up with those activities. The Teen Center had the LA compost soil bus out last week. The bus itself is very cute. We were super happy to have them there, and the teens really enjoyed it. It was a great day. Camp. Spring break camp is full, and summer camp registration will be opening on March 2nd. We will again have what we are calling the Culver City Youth Sports Camp at Blanco, and then we will have the Just for Kids at Vets and the youngers at El Marino.
Danny, can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Is there any way that we might deconflict camp sign up from teen center registration for next fall that both currently, I think, are scheduled now for 7 a.m. on March 2nd?
That is not something we've thought about.
One be moved a day, like teen center one day.
We are in a very good position in Teen Center, so we don't currently have a cap, so I'm not concerned.
Okay. All right.
I would totally understand if it were, we have been hiring staff, we're in a good position, we've added everyone off the wait list, so I'm not concerned.
All right.
In the future, if we have conflicting things like that where we are concerned, yeah, we could definitely move them. But I'm not worried about Teen Center. Okay, so the plunge, we have our buddy swim on February 14th. Please come out and do some lap swimming and bring a friend. And then on February 21st, we have Parents' Night Out. So you can register now on ActiveNet. We are bringing that back. So it's a great event where parents can come and drop off their kids and enjoy an evening while our staff do crafts and activities and fun stuff with the kids. And then our spring egg hunt adventure is going to be March 28th. It has a new name this year because it is a new event. We are trying something new this year. So in the past, as you are probably all aware, we would do the extravaganza where all the kids would go to the park and we would open it up at specific times for ages and all the kids would run in and grab eggs. And that was the event, and then we had kind of things around. This year, one of my favorite things that I've done here since I started was during COVID. The egg hunt we did was virtual, and so we are doing a mesh of the two. So this year, on March 28th, we will have a virtual egg hunt, and we will have descriptions and sign-ups ahead of time so that we know how many families are participating. So there will be laminated eggs in all the parks throughout the park system. There will be different sizes. It will coincide with an app where families will go, they'll scan, or they'll get a passcode that will be on the egg, and they'll put it into the app. And that basically kind of gains them points, and you need a certain amount of points to come back and redeem your goodie bags. On registration, we'll ask how many kids you have in the family, and you register, and there will be eggs at all the parks. Including on the app, there will be clues, because some of them are much harder to find. So the clues will correspond to wherever the egg is hidden. And then they bring it back to vets, and at vets, we will have a goodie bag area where they get their goodie bags. We'll have pictures with the Easter Bunny. We will have entertainment, so we will have a magician and a kid singer. We will have arts and crafts booths. We will have face painting, and so we will have things actually at the park as well. We will have a couple food booths. So we're trying to really get the community out into the parks and make it a full family event. Sometimes the event that we've done in the past, sometimes parking isn't as easy. Parents come late, they miss their kids' times. It's a lot of kids all at once, and it's a very quick grab. This, I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of great feedback when we did it in 2021, and so we're trying to mesh the two. I'm very excited about this event, so it will be from 9 to 2 with the hunt starting at 8, and we're excited about it, so hope to see you there. That is all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner remarks, starting with Commissioner Whitaker.
Well, I'd like to start off by thanking the lifeguards at the plunge. Just to piggyback off of what Chair was speaking on earlier, it really goes to show that the right decisions are being made. Just a couple months ago, probably more last year, when we decided that to stick with the lifeguards that we hire and not to go to an outside company, it really goes to show that the people making the decisions are making the right decisions. And that's an amazing thing, because saving a life is paramount. I mean, there's nothing you can put on that. There's no dollar amount that you could put on a life. And so that's just amazing. So I 100% thank the lifeguards for that. Also thanking staff as well too. Without staff, the boat doesn't float. So once again, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for your dedication. That is all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Chen?
I'm curious since it's lovely to have a good outcome, it's a very rare and intense thing to have a rescue at the pool. In healthcare, when we have codes and things, there's often a chance to debrief. People who don't frequently get exposed to such intense scenarios, may need some emotional support afterwards, good or bad outcome. Can you talk a little bit about what's in place for the lifeguards, or if anything took place to help support them?
Yes, so there's a couple things. One, we reached out to our own Dr. Dan and let him know what happened and kind of who was involved, and had spoken to the lifeguards involved and let them know that they had resources if they needed anything. What is something that is currently not in place, but Kim, the supervisor over the plunge, is actually bringing back, is a debrief with fire. So there's two different pieces of that. One is a debrief with one of the nurses that comes in and does like a full debrief with them and, talks them through it. But what we want to put in place for everything in the future includes the fire department. And it's something that there's a term that I don't remember, but Kim knows. She's worked in open waters, and it's something that they do there where they bring in the whole team. They talk about it. They talk about what happened, what could have happened, and give a more in-depth analysis and give the opportunities for the lifeguards to talk about it within their peers. So in addition, the supervisor, coordinator have definitely reached out, talked to staff, The direction was given immediately after was definitely take time to process. We're not asking you to come back right away. We want you to, feel comfortable because, yes, our staff, 2 of them was their first time ever experiencing that. They were both fairly new guards, so definitely understood that and have spoken to them about the resources that have been offered. That's it.
Commissioner Bond.
I don't really have much more to say other than, again, impressed, especially with them being 2 new guards. That must have been terrifying for them. So the training has been very successful. I had spoken, or one of my friends was a friend of the person who had the medical event, and apparently it was a 15-minute CPR. That's a long time to be performing CPR, and they saved her. So, like I said, all I can do is express gratitude for the people that we have at the plunge, doing what they're doing. I know that at one point I was also a lifeguard, so it can be a very stressful job, and a rewarding job, and with a lot of responsibility. So these are young kids out there, and they deserve the accolades and everything. And that's pretty much all I have to say, except for happy February, happy Black History Month, and happy Valentine's Day. Eat lots of chocolate.
And then swim it off in the pool.
That's right.
Thank you, Commissioner Bond. I don't have really a whole lot to say, except that I tend to latch on certain things. You've probably heard me saying before that I see the Parks Master Plan as our North Star. But I also, maybe we can all think about this before our next meeting and continue to think, what is this sort of new concept that's out there? Because I didn't come up with this idea of third spaces. I've been reading about it and hearing about it from others, but how we can incorporate that into what we do in terms of not empathizing, but emphasizing, thank you. Emphasizing the importance of everything that the PRCS department provides to our community for their physical health, for their mental health, for the community's health. It's super important, underline. And with that, I am done, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
Before we take a motion for adjournment, just want to, for the record, I mentioned that Vice Chair Peters left the meeting at 8:29.
Thank you.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
All right, with a move to adjourn by Commissioner Bond, seconded by Commissioner Chen, and we will vote. With 4 yeses and 1 absent, we are adjourned at 8:36:45.